How are y'all doing? Just gonna go over some menu options on the Baofeng. I'm using the Baofeng UV-5RM. This green button right here, you press to get to your menu. First selection is 00, which is SQL, which is your squelch level. It's basically the amount of your receive power or the amount of static in which you receive. Then we go to 1 is step. That's your step frequency. It's the amount of frequency change in frequency mode. However much frequency you want to change through when you're in VFO mode, in frequency mode, when you use your up and down buttons to go through. Then your next one is TXP. That's your transmit power. You have a high or a low or a middle. So it depends on how far you need to send a signal and stuff like that. I usually keep mine on high, but it'll depend on your circumstances on where you need that at. Your save is your battery save. You can have that off, or it's your goes through your different cycles for off and on, and just cycles from sleep and awake is all that is. Your next one is Vox or VOX. That's your voice operated text. On the side, this button here is your push to talk button. That's how you transmit. You don't have to use that button when you have Vox turned on. Then you have your WN. That's your wideband versus narrow band. You transmit on a wider or a more narrow frequency range. Your wider band is usually for better audio quality, and your narrow band is usually when you're in poor signal. Next one is your ABR. That's your display illumination time. It's your timeout for your LED backlight in seconds. Then you've got your TDR, which is dual watch or your dual reception. It you can monitor A and B channel at the same time. So I'm switching back and forth. There's A, there's B. So you can monitor them both, but you can only speak on which one's labeled as your main. After TDR is your beep prompt or beep. It's your keypad beeps. If that's turned on, every time you hit a key, your Baofeng will beep. After that is TOT or transmission timeout timer. Limits your transmission time to preserve your battery to keep from interference with others. RCTCSS. So CTCSS stands for Continuous Tone Coded Squelch System. This is your receiver CTCSS. It blocks transmissions on that frequency not using the code you have set. Then you're on RDCS or your receiver DCS. DCS stands for Digital Code Squelch. It blocks transmissions on that frequency not using the digital code. Then you have TCTCSS or your transmit CTCSS. That's a subaudible code sent to unlock the squelch. And you have your TDCS or your transmit DCS, and it's a low-level digital signal sent to unlock squelch. Then you have your scan CTCSS that allows scanning of CTCSS in VFO or frequency mode, and it's not for the MR or the channel mode. Let's see. Then you got scan DCS, allow scanning of your DCS in your VFO or frequency mode. It's not for the MR or the channel mode. And you've got CD CSS save mode. You can save scanned CTCSS or DCS in VFO or frequency mode, and you can select between all, receive, or transmit. After that, you've got voice. Voice is your voice prompt. It's an audible confirmation of key presses. So it tells you like power on, menu, stuff like that. And you've got your language. It's your language selection, English or Chinese language display. DTM FST, it's your dual tone multi-frequency side tones. Determines when DTMF side tones can be heard from the speaker. Basically DTM-FST, dual tone multi-frequency side tones, kind of like a old school telephone where you hit the buttons and it has different beeps for the different numbers. It's basically what that is. S code is your signal code. Selects one of 15 DTMF codes pre-programmed with software up to 5 digits. SCREV or scanner resume method determines when scanning continues. You've got a couple options on that, whether it's after a transmission has ended, or after you hit the button, or after so much time, something like that. PTTID, that's your push to talk identification. It's when to send your push to talk identification. I keep mine off because mine is only used for like emergency situations since I'm not licensed. And I don't really care for anybody to have my ID if I accidentally hit the button. Normally when I'm playing around with it, I'll take the antenna off though, so I don't do that. PTTLT is your signal code sending delay. That's push to talk ID delay in milliseconds. MDF-A is your channel mode A display. Channel A display, either your channel number, channel name, or your channel frequency. You have a couple options on that. And then after that, you've got MDF-B. That's your channel mode display on channel B. You got BCL, that's your busy channel lockout. It keeps from interfering with channels when the frequency is already in use. So you're not talking over someone else already speaking. Your auto lock, it's automatic keypad lock, and set time for the keypad to automatically be locked so you don't accidentally hit any buttons. After that is SFT-D, that's your frequency shift direction. You've got either positive or negative for access, and this is used to access repeaters. Your offset, that's your frequency shift amount. So specifies the amount of frequency that you're going above or below the set frequency for accessing repeaters. MEMCH is a memory channel. That's how you store a memory channel. Create a new channel in the MR mode or channel mode. DELCH, that is delete channel, delete a memory channel. That's how you delete it out of your MR mode or your channel mode. ALMOD, that's your alarm mode, determines where the alarm is heard. STE is your squelch tail elimination. In simplex, it eliminates tail noise or noise at end of the transmission. RPSTE, that is your repeater squelch tail eliminator. And when using a repeater, it eliminates tail noise or noise at the end of a transmission. RPTRL is delay of squelch tail of repeater, sets delay time of repeater tail noise. Roger, that's your Roger beep. It's a beep at the end of your transmission. So after you hit your transmit button, your push to talk, when you let go, it'll send a beep if you have that turned on. Tone, that's for a tone burst. It's a short tone burst frequency used for different reasons. One reason for it is they used to use tone burst quite frequently to unlock repeaters when you were accessing them. It's not as common, especially in the US anymore. I think it's still common in the UK. Menu exit time, that sets the amount of time before the menu kicks you out. VOX delay or Vox delay, it's the time between speaking and returning to transmit mode. Power message on, power on MSG, that's your power on message. It's whether you have like your, it shows up Baofeng or shows up like your voltage. I think I've got mine set at voltage, just so I know kind of what my battery level's at on power on. Then you got voice PRI. It's your frequency hopping system. It's either on or off. It's for frequency hopping system to prevent interference. Just when I looked into that, I actually don't recommend using that unless you're a lot more into the amateur radio. Reset, it restores defaults. restores to factory settings. Now in that you've got either your frequency mode or all. You can do either one of those in that. So you can either do the entire Baofeng or just your frequency. So you can just clear your frequencies out and keep the rest of your settings. The next one is power on PWD. That is a power on password. And what that does is that requires a password to power it on. So after you turn on your Baofeng, you'll have a password to put in, passcode. There's a stopwatch feature on here. It's just a basic stopwatch. You turn it on and it's a stopwatch so you can keep time of different things. Scramble, it scrambles voice signals. And on this you've got off, mode 1, mode 2, 3, and off. I keep mine off. I don't see any reason to personally use it. And the last thing on here is the version, which gives your firmware, hardware information. And then it starts back over. But that is your menu options on a Baofeng UV-5RM. Most of your Baofengs will have similar options. They just may be in a different order. So thank you for watching.